show, bro. Keep it going.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in his ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Ferman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome everybody to another edition of Walking the Ways Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Ferman Jackson Jr., broadcasting live from my new home, my new location of the city of Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, and all surrounding areas here in the great state of Texas. We thank everybody for allowing us to come one more time to your home, where we may be located at. And we're going to be talking about some interesting stuff tonight. We're going to be talking about being a better version of ourselves here tonight on the podcast. I know we've been doing a lot of Q&A as of late for so long. We've been doing a podcast, but tonight we're going to be something different. We're just going to be dialoguing tonight. We're going to be talking about becoming a better version of ourselves. You know, just go for man, woman, whomever, to be a better version of ourselves. Take it to the next level in our own personal lives, not just in our personal life, but also when it comes to the workplace, the business place. If you're an athlete, we want to become better at everything that we do, everything we set our mind to, and everything we want to accomplish in life. And that's what it's all about, becoming a better version of ourselves. We should always want to become a better version of ourselves. I know I do. This is a new year. I know we have all these high expectations when it comes to the new year. You know, everybody say, this is my year, this is my year. But we get excited about the year. Not saying everybody does that, but I know some of us do that. We have high expectations for ourselves, and then we just go through the hype, and then we just lose focus, get sidetracked, and then we defeat ourselves. And then when it comes back to another year, we want to say, this is my year. Every day should be a year. That's just my opinion. Every day that God allows us to see another day, that's a day to get better, to get sharper, more and more, to become that person that you want to be. But we're going to further more into that tonight. But before we get further into it, I want to introduce Kenny PrimeTime Williams. He's here with the latest sports news and updates. We know that football season's over with. We know they're finna get ready to go into the off season. We know we got the draft coming up. We know we got the combines going on, I think. But so much stuff going on. We know the NBA still going on. But we know everybody misses football. But we know football going to be back later on during the summer, of course. So, Kenny, take away with the latest sports news and updates.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing out there in the land? I'd like to welcome you, everyone, to this segment of Kenny PrimeTime Williams, the Prime Zone. Thank you for tuning in. We thank everybody for being a part of this great podcast. We want to give shouts out to the city of Dallas, Texas, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Mobile, Alabama, and all surrounding areas. I have the latest sports areas for you on this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I would like to present it to you right now. Breaking news off the press: the Major League Baseball announces cancellation of the 2 series of the MLB season after players didn't come to an agreement on a labor dispute, which means the season was supposed to begin on March 31st, but it will be scheduled from 162 games to likely 156 games at the most. So players will not get paid while games missed. So, you know, for the Major League Baseball players, I like to get paid while I'm playing. So I would love to get this strike over with. But there would not be the beginning of the season will be a lot of cancellations concerning the Major League Baseball lockout with players and the officials. And so we look forward to them getting that thing all worked out and moving forward as the season grows further. Now, in the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets signed Isaiah Thomas to a 10-day contract with the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets are 30-32 and have struggled throughout the season with their recent loss of 11 out of 13 games, putting them ninth in the Eastern Conference playoff race, and it's not looking good. So congratulations to Isaiah for making being on the Charlotte Hornets team along with LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. Welcome Isaiah Thomas to the team for a 10-day contract. Will possibly help the team boost their morale, moving up in the playoff rankings as well. Moving on to Memphis, Tennessee. NBA most valuable player talks are in sparks in Memphis for the Grizzlies guard Ja Morant. As you know, last night, Ja Morant scored 52 points in a win over the San Antonio Spurs. He was awesome, a freak of nature on last night. He broke his own record for single season points in a regular season. And this kid is growing up every game. If you watch him, he's spectacular to watch. He's box office. I look forward to his team. Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies going to be close to the NBA Finals, if not NBA champions in the further on in the league. Now, also, the Sixers are front runners of trying to land DeAndre Jordan to join them, as DeAndre Jordan was waived by the Lakers on Monday. The Lakers waived DeAndre's contract. He had a one-year contract with the Los Angeles Lakers, and they waived him on Monday, and now the 76ers are trying to acquire him as another big man along Joel Embiid, James Harden, and they're trying to pull up a team for the playoffs, and it's very, very respected for that. So big ups to Philadelphia for trying to acquire that. Now, I think it'll be a great connection between him and Joel Embiid. So I look forward to that happening in the near playoff future. Now, moving on to the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, the NFL is not here. I know everybody's sad. I know everybody's depressed. And I don't understand why the NFL just can't go all year long. But, hey, you can't hurt the players too much, and you can't beat them up that bad, right? So the NFL Combine begins today for all college players, NFL prospects, Heisman Trophy candidates, all type of good players start the Combine today, and getting ready for the draft will be next month. And it will be a shocker because there are a lot of round ones that's going to go, and I'm excited to see which team each player ends up in because it's going to be a shocker. Every year in the NFL draft, it's something that we look forward to because it gives you something to look forward to at the beginning of the NFL season. So big up to that. The New York Giants are trying to shop away star running back Saquon Barkley. They've been taking calls for a trade talk about him, and nobody hasn't picked up yet, but Saquon Barkley is an awesome running back. He's a great running back, formerly of Penn State University, and he has done great things for the New York Giants. He has put this team on his back, and he has put them all the way to where they are. Now, with them having a new head coach, let's see what it does. He wants to have a new page, and he wants to have a new scheme, a new everything. So we're going to see how that turns out before the beginning of the season. Now, our very own Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, had yet another surgery, this time on his non-throwing arm. He had a surgery on last week. He's recovering fine. Coach Mike McCarthy called the surgery a cleanup, saying the quarterback needed to get everything ready for upcoming season, and he wanted to have him 100%. So it was best that Dak go ahead and have the surgery now, and I really do respect that. And so prayers out to a speedy recovery for our quarterback, Dak Prescott. And also, there has been no trade talks for Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. We all know Aaron Rodgers has speculations that he was going to retire, but obviously he's not going to retire, but wants out of Green Bay. He wants out of Green Bay, so we're going to see how that turns out and see how that ends up. No one has yet wants to get him because he's a high-priced dollar quarterback. So Green Bay is trying to hold his tag, if not, have to release him or better yet, find a trade. That's my sports news for today, but before I leave you, I would like to leave you with a thought for today. Do not chase success. Do what is required, and success will come to you. I'm going to say that one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Do not chase success. Do what is required, and success will come to you. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being in the Prime Zone. To everybody out there in podcast land, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. So next time, I'll see you. Take it over, Mr. Ferman.
Appreciate you, Kenny. PT with the latest sports news and updates that's going on around our world. And like I said, man, we're very excited to be with y'all once again on this lovely Tuesday night. It's actually the first third month of 2022. Is actually March 1st, 2022. This is the third month that we are into. So I hope everybody, got some things cooked up. Hope everybody got some things that they're working on, things they are progressing in, and not to prolong and waste of time. But also, I see we got Anna C back with us tonight as well, one of the other co-hosts on Impact Force Podcast. Very happy to see her back in the house also. So, man, we're very excited about tonight's topic discussion. We're going to be talking about becoming a better version of ourselves. And it's something that we really want to dialogue and get off into. Like I said, just want to reflect on what we did back in, January, February. Have we seen the changes that we have seen? Have we, what I'm saying? Have we seen some increase or have we seen some decrease in our personal life? Have we actually experienced on the up and up, things that we always envisioned, things that we always inspired to be? That's not just in our adulthood, but let's take it back to our childhood. When we growing up as children, we wanted to be, doctors, and you want to be a policeman and an astronaut and an athlete. And we have had all these dreams, becoming something one day until adulthood came in, until, going through the teenage years and just going through, peer pressure and being influenced by the wrong type of people and getting off into some things and indulging in some things, and just really got completely sidetracked. But just thinking about when we was growing up, how we had these dreams. Everybody, the boys wanted to be like Superman. Seeing Superman fly. We believe we can fly. You know what I'm saying? Get on top of the roof and thinking that we can fly as well. But we had those high expectations of being something great. And as we in adulthood, we should strive to be great. That's just what I'm doing in my own life. Striving to be great, striving to work in excellence, striving to be elite. And you don't have to be elite. You don't have to be excellent when it comes to you being an athlete, whether you're a football player, a basketball player, baseball player, tennis player, um, entertainer. It don't matter. But you can be elite. You could be working the spirit of excellence, whether you are a banker, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a factory worker, whether you flip burgers at McDonald's, or you work at Walmart, or you in school, you a student, being the best at what you at. And I know we had a lot of iconic figures growing up. I know in my generation we had the Michael Jordans, we had a lot of the greats. We had Mike Tyson in his prime. We had these iconic figures growing up that we always wanted to be like, and always strive to be like. Always wanted to take what they were doing and implement it in our own lives, and we always strive to get that way. We always strive to make it that way. But I thank God for mercy and grace. That's all I want to say. I thank God for mercy and grace to get it right. What do you want to be for yourself? You don't have, it's never too late. No matter what age you is, it's never too late. You can always be a better version of yourself. That's something that I'm implementing in my own life, and I share it with anybody. I look back on the times I grew up and I felt like, and I said, I ain't gonna say I felt like, I knew I wasted time, the lack of discipline in my 20s and in my 30s. And I heard somebody say this years ago, you live life, you don't let life live you. When you live life, you set the rules on how you want your life to be. You set the standard on how you want your life to be. You don't allow your circumstances, you don't allow your background to determine your life, your future, things of that nature. And we always want to strive to be better. And that's what we want to do. We want to strive to get better every day. focus on what you're reading on, what you're watching, who you associate yourself around with. It's always something to always perfect that craft for you. What's your passion here? What's your drive? What drives you every day? What motivates you every day to get up and make the best out of your life? What is that why? You know, we hear that all the time. What is your why? What is your why? What is our why? What is your why to do what you do? You know, is your why I'm just getting by? And we say that so I'm just getting by, I'm barely making it. Bump that. See, it's our words. Our words have power. The Bible said death and life and power of the tongue, and then she eat the fruit thereof. So we speaking these words in the atmosphere, we gonna what? Reap the consequences. And we just say these words all the time. I'm barely making it. And we while we barely making it, because that's something we spoke over ourselves, I'm barely making it. Or we'll say I'm broke. We keep saying that, oh, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. And you wonder why you broke, because you keep saying I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. So it's our words, man. And I'm learning now in my own life to be more disciplined. And I ask God to give me the spirit of discipline, because that discipline spirit is important. Discipline brings success. Discipline is gonna cause you to do things that you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna cut out some leisure time. You know, everybody want to go out there and party. Like, hey, I ain't got time to party. Right now, I got to study to perfect my craft. Everybody want to go drinking and things of that nature. Be like, hey, I'm working on this. Or you want to get your credit straight, or you want to get your money right. But everybody want to go to Miami for the weekend. And be like, right now, I can't do that right now. I'm working to get my finances in order. Discipline. That's what we want to reflect on. Discipline, being more disciplined in everyday lifestyle. That's something we want to strive to every day. But this type of discussion we want to talk about. Like I said, I know I got the co-hosts with me tonight, and I want them to dialogue. I want them to bring their oomph into it as we talk about becoming a better version of ourselves. So, what version of yourself you want to be? Who you striving to be? Who are you striving to be every day? What do you want to be every day?
Well,
And that's something that we talk about. So, Ken, you want to elaborate? Like I said, I know we're talking about becoming a better version of ourselves, and I know we striving. We all striving
right.
to become a better version of ourselves each and every moment. And we know where we at. You say, okay, I know where I'm at. I know what I think people say, I'm not. What is it? I'm not where I ought to be. I'm not whatever they say. But anyway, but becoming a better version of ourselves. That's what we're talking about here tonight. So, if you have any input you want to share, as we just talk about this tonight.
Yes. A better version of yourself is an individual thing, and I use myself for an example. Every morning I wake up and get ready to start my day, whether I'm in the shower or I'm on my way to work. First, acknowledge the man above, and you start your day with a positive attitude, a positive mindset. I always try to set yourself to be able to learn anything that comes your way. I believe in you learn something every day. I really believe that statement, and I really believe that to be true. And so, learning something every day and being able to exercise your mindset that will bring you further along or in the road as far as things that you want to accomplish in life. Yeah, that's what I think.
And I know it's an ongoing process. I know even Nipsey Hussle said the marathon continues, and it does. The marathon continues, and I know and I said this is the third month of 2022. Just looking back, have I accomplished a little stuff I want to come back in January? Have this a little stuff I come back in February? And that's what we want to talk about, just reflecting where I started to I am in the third month. I know we have the high expectations when it comes to this is my year, this is my season, but then we get sidetracked. It happens to everybody. We get sidetracked, we lose focus. Absolutely. And then we have to get ourselves back on track. And then we go through the year, and when December 2022 hit, you're like, damn, I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish. And that's just being real. And it comes to deceiving I said we all been there. We could be our own worst enemy. I hear people talk about I got haters. I got nah. A lot of times we our own worst enemy. We get our own way, and we get mad at everybody instead of saying, you know what, I messed up. Let me pick myself up because we don't want to prolong the time. Like I said earlier, if I could do some things over again in my life, I would have. And I want to say that why? Because the lack of discipline. The lack of discipline in your teens, into your 20s, into your 30s. And then like next month I'll be 40. So I'm in the era of 40 now. So it's like you're looking at life differently. You see a lot of young cats coming up, especially young guys coming up. And you know, the highlight of your career, the highlight of your life, period. You know, don't waste time. Time is flying by. You know, you hear people say, we got the date that we're born, we got that dash in the middle, and we got that question mark when we're gonna leave the planet Earth. So a lot of times, what people say, what have you did between that time from when you were born to the day you die? And we want to make the best out of our life. I know I want to make the best out of my life. If I'm gonna be able to come to everything, I can't say I'm gonna be able to come to everything, but at least to the point where I say, hey, you know what? I did something that I was destined to do, right, and to encourage each other and to really build each other up. So that's why I want to know, man, have your feedback as we have this topic of discussion tonight. I know we've been doing a lot of interviews with a lot of great guests, and but tonight it's just really us, just really talking, dissecting, getting some positive feedback. What can we accomplish in our topic of discussion? I'm becoming a better version of myself. And I see Anna here as well. So Anna, I know you want to put some input as we talk about this tonight, becoming a better version of ourselves.
Yeah. When you talk about becoming a better version of yourself, the best version of yourself, right? We all have these feelings and ideas of how can I be a better me today? And it's really, quite simple. A lot of times we overthink things, but if you just make small progress each day, those tiny improvements will definitely help. But when we really dig deep into like, how do you become the best version of yourself? We really need to have a clear understanding of who we are, what we stand for, what do we represent, what ideals do we hold on to, what character traits, what are our definites, the things that we are not flexible about. Because when you have those things set in stone, you have a better idea of who you are as a person. And it makes it easier to envision this greater version of yourself. And what you have to do is you have to show up as that person every day, even if you feel like you're not fulfilling those shoes 100%. Every day we're working, or making a conscious effort to be that better person. So I definitely believe in taking action steps, and I also believe, I'm spiritual, I'm religious, I do believe in God. I believe that you will continue to be tested until you pass. So, when you're constantly being put in situations that are testing your patience, man, they're testing my patience. Your patience is being tested because you have not proven to be a person who is patient, right? So that's obviously something you need to work on. If you're constantly getting riled up and angry, you're constantly on edge. Oh, they just work my nerves. If you're an anxious person, those are red flags and indicators. These are things that I need to work on within me. So sometimes we have to do some introspection. Introspection is when you sit down, you look in the mirror, and you become completely honest with yourself about who you are, what you're doing, where you're going. Because it's real easy. It's really easy to see the flaws and faults in others, the wrongs and the things that are around us. It's actually human nature. It's been proven by science. It's in our genetics, it's in our genes. As human beings, a defense mechanism, we are cautious to things that are bad. We are aware. So you notice things that are wrong instantly because your body is preparing to defend you, right? So it's very easy to see all the wrong things going on around you, but sometimes it's harder to do that digging deep within yourself, looking in the mirror. And sometimes it can be hard to be optimistic and see the good that's going on amongst chaos, right? So we have to make a conscious effort. That's when you have to purposely try to see the good in ourselves, in those around us, in the things that are going on, and doing those things daily. That's what makes us better people, a better person. You know, it's easy to see the faults in someone, you know, what that person does wrong, what they ain't doing right. But I just want everyone to take a moment and say, find the good in everybody you meet, because we're all going through something. We all have opportunities to improve and be better. So we just need to be more cognizant and more aware. And we really need to put enough, extra emphasis on seeing the good, being the good, right?
Right.
And those things will help you become better. And when you feel like you're not quite there, affirmations, feeding yourself positive things, just like you feed your body good food, you have to feed your mind, you have to feed your heart, you have to feed your spirit. And if you're constantly negative, or you're feeding your mind, your body, and your heart negative energy, negative comments, negative thoughts, that's what brings you down. So you have to surround yourself with positivity. I believe in positive affirmations, speaking positive, seeing positive, and just doing good. Because it's just like I said, it's just baby steps every day. When you make one good decision, it makes the next one easier. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, "Ooh, I ate something healthy today." And so that will encourage me. Well, since I ate something healthy, I'm gonna go for a walk in the park. Now I'm on a roll. I done did two good things. Oh, I done went for a walk. I done ate good. It just makes it easier. One good decision will lead to another good decision. And a lot of times when you're trying to strive to be the best you can be, when you're working on seeing yourself clearly, getting that clear view of who you are, because I know a lot of times we struggle. I know we hear things like midlife crisis. We hear things like people are going through a change, all those kind of things like that. It's very important that we stand firm on, yes, people evolve. We will change, but there are some ideals that we have to hold tight to. You know, at the end of the day, do you know who you are? Like for me, I know that I'm an honest person. I'm a kind person. I have my flaws and faults like everybody else, but I know that I will not do things that will jeopardize my integrity.
Right.
That means a lot to me. You know, my self-respect and what I think about myself and what other people think about me means a lot to me. So I won't do things to jeopardize that. And so now that I have that vision of myself as a high integrity person, a positive person, I choose to live my life in that way. We have to make a conscious decision in everything we do. You have to make a conscious decision to be better, to do better, and to accept yourself even when you slip up, because we're human. At the end of the day, we're gonna all mess up. But the good thing about grace is that we can start over, and we've already been forgiven. We just have to remember that and not dwell in the wrong that has happened, but do better in the moments and the actions and the things that we do going forward.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. We all are working to make. We all are working in progress. You hear people say, "Trust the process. The process is fun," because we constantly feel at the same time. It should be more exciting that you working on a better version of yourself. And I like the little simple things, little small things. If you never made your bed up before, start making your bed up in the morning.
Create some good habits.
Yeah, create some good habits. Start being more organized. If you have a sloppy room, clean your room up. It's little simple stuff we can start off with. Your car. If your car is nasty and filthy, clean your car. Start cleaning your car.
Look, I struggle with my car, Ferman. I can work on it. You're right. It's those small things, just doing those things. And I just, like you said, making your bed, creating good habits. I
Yeah,
think we all have some good habits, and I think that accountability is important. Like being around people who will encourage you to do
right.
better, who will tell you when you're wrong, and who will hold you to the things you
Yeah.
said you were going to do. Accountability partners, friends, and spouses. Those things really, really, really help.
Right.
Yeah, dude. And like I said, just a little silver thing. I gotta clean my car. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta clean my car up. I'm looking for me a detail around Dallas, detail my car inside and out. Because it's just a little simple thing. Be more organized. And that's what I love about God. I know the Bible you have me if you ask not. If I ask God all the time, give me a disciplined spirit, a spirit that I can work people more disciplined. Because that discipline plays a role in success.
Correct.
Laziness does not bring success. You can't be lazy. Everybody, like business wise, you hear everybody say they want these. I want to be a great entrepreneur, and but you have to put in the work. You can't be lazy. You got all the great entrepreneurs that came before us. They put in the work. They grind constantly to get to that place where they can be a billionaire, and that network. And everybody wants that network, but you got to put in the work for it. So if you want to be a great entrepreneur, or whatever you want to be, work at it. Start with little simple things. Put in the work. And I know when you're entrepreneur and you're a business owner, you can't do the thing like you used to do because you constantly work and because think about it, you generate your own income now. So you're not like you're working on somebody's 9 to 5 job. So now you have to generate your own income. So what it does, that takes work. Simple thing is work. If you want to be, when it comes to your relationship, be better. Work on, it's a lot of stuff that we could do to better ourselves, but at the same time, it's all about having fun with the process.
Some things that you can do to help make you better. After you decide that you want to do better and you want to improve, we got to invest in ourselves, right?
Right.
So the things that we see, read, hear, consume, those things are important. So if you aren't able to get there by yourself, sometimes you need a little help. And we need to be honest enough to say and know that it's okay that we need a little help. We can't all be experts, right? So if I was struggling with my health and my weight, I would get a trainer. If I was struggling spiritually, I would seek counsel from a minister. You know, if I'm struggling mentally, it's definitely okay to speak to someone, a trained professional who can help you. Those are all parts of self-care. Self-care is a big part of being a better you. When you love yourself fully, you will be more capable of loving other people. And
Right.
I think that we should spend more time and we should put more effort towards taking care of ourselves.
I agree. I agree
Yeah.
100% on that. And it's the season. I don't want to say the season. It's time. Like people always say, season you in. The time. It's time for everything. Time to
Yeah.
live, die, all this stuff. But most importantly, like I said, man, just take your time out for yourself. Become a better version of yourself. I know I want to be a better version of myself. I'm striving at it every day. If you don't know me, get to know me now. I love reading books. I love reading different books.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book that I love to read. Okay, I love the Bible, of course. I like reading a lot of self-help books, like Relentless by Tim Groves. Tim Groves
Okay.
trained Michael Jordan. He trained Kobe Bryant. It's another book that I also got finished reading called Being Disciplined. The book was written by ex-Navy SEAL. I like books like that. I'm also getting into I say getting into, but I'm also into like the James Bond novels. I'm working on being the alpha male type guy, studying the characteristics of alpha males, like the leader, um, just the work ethic. You know. Also, I love looking at other athletes, studying different athletes like the Tom Brady's, Michael Jordan's, study their work ethic, how they approach things, and how they approach life. So I like books like that, and I love it. Look, right now I got a whole library of different books. I always want to have my own library, and I got my own library. But like it's constantly changing my mindset, and that's what plays a role too. Even Paul said in the Bible, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of my mind." So we have to change the mindset. And there's a book that I bought called "Change Your Brain, Change Your Life." Um, I didn't know that we should get tested for our brains to see what's going on with our psyche, because in the book it says that people may experience some type of head trauma. It may not have the reaction may not happen right then and there, but through life it shows. And just getting the brain and stuff checked out, because I try to think like children that people that do with ADHD, they put you in special ed classes. And in the book, it talks about that, children may experience some type of trauma where their parents may argue all the time, fight all the time. That plays an effect on the child too, mentally. And seeing that stuff, but not getting the necessary help that we need. Now people start implementing getting with professional help. Because we never told, hey, go see a psychologist. We were never told go see one, but now people start to go see psychologists now to get a better understanding and a better healing when it comes to things. So them areas, like I said, are just really important.
So basically, when you're working on becoming a better you, having a clear vision or idea of who you are, what you stand for, and what you represent,
Right.
like a personal mission statement, if you
Yeah.
would say, because we all done said, I ain't going for that. I ain't standing for that. So we have a general idea of who we are, what we will tolerate,
Right.
what are our negotiables, what are our non-negotiables. So having a clear vision of who we are,
Right.
and then also having a clear vision of who we want to be. So having an idea of who is this person I want to become, and constantly taking action steps to be that person. If you see yourself as a entrepreneur, be that person. If you see yourself as a great father, a great leader, it is up to you to become and be that person, to feel you show up as that person daily.
Right.
So having a vision. Okay, so we also said taking action, doing things to prepare ourselves, taking care of ourselves to creating healthy habits. You mentioned that. I remember as when I was younger, they used to say, oh, do something 18 times. Then it was like, oh, do something 21 times. It'll become a habit. Oh, do something for 31 days. It'll become a habit. Then it was like, oh, no, you have to do it 265 times. But the reality is, no matter how many times you do it, you just have to continue, no matter how many times you have to keep starting over. It's constantly, consistently, religiously. We have to do these things to create these habits. It's like with anything. You could do great on a diet, and then you mess up and you eat a carb. Are you gonna just kill yourself? Nah, you're gonna start back over, right?
Right.
When you're training for a marathon, you may not be able to run the whole course immediately. You're gonna have to stop and take some breaks. You might have to restart, retrain. You work towards it daily, taking action steps to be a better person, seeing yourself as a better person, doing things, living the life of the person you see yourself as, creating healthy, happy, habits, speaking positive in your life, over your life, throughout your life, and surrounding yourself with people who are doing the same to hold you to your values. Those things will all, help you become a better person. Just taking better care of yourself, self-care. I think that's great. Kenny, I want to hear from you because you're someone we look up to. I hope you're able to hop back on and unmute for us, because I know it's power in the male perspective. And with you being a family man, tell me, did somebody say, this is what you need to do to be a great man? Or how did you become a great man? Right?
Well, the number one thing for me growing up as a kid, I was always in the church house. I was around pastors, ministers, and deacons, and men that took young men under their wings and showed them how to change a tire, showed them how to groom themselves, show them the way of picking up a trade, things of that nature. And I used my dad for aspect. My dad was a real big sports person. That's actually how I got into sports. And I would play. I played football, basketball, anything you name it. My dad had made me was hard on me behind it, and it taught me a lot in lesson life. No matter how big the obstacle is, and you got to keep pushing. You can never give up. And it brought me to when I had my own family. A lot of situations that occurred or happened, you felt boggled and you didn't know what to do, but you go back to your training and you go back to when you were brought up and you're like, okay, this is how I'm gonna handle this. And so you just go ahead and you face it face first. You don't run from it, you go towards it. So that was one of the major things for me. Just being around a lot of positive males growing up. I wasn't allowed to hang on the corner or be out with the bad crowd. I actually didn't have the time, even as a young kid. Just always involved in sports and involved in something going on at the school. And when after my day was over, I was tired. So it was a great experience growing up. A lot of things I had to find out for myself, but at the end of the day, you always go back to your teaching and your raising, how you was raised. And I'll be forever grateful for that, for the men that was in my life, including my father, my uncles, a lot of church people that's passed and gone on in life. But I wouldn't be the man I am today without them.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Anna, with Kenny, because that's very important. We don't see that much in this generation no more. You had the older men, and the Bible said that the older men were to show the younger men, which we don't see much of that in this generation. You know, that lack of accountability. The little simple thing we was talking about earlier, Anna, like making a bed. We bypass a little simple thing. You know, they would teach you how to groom yourself. You know, when you went, back in the day, when you go to church, everybody wear the polos and jeans. Back then, you had to wear a suit and tie to church every Sunday. But that's what we had to wear. I mean, that was the only thing. You can wear anything else, but it was preparing us for something later down in life. You know, especially growing up at my dad's house, we couldn't even sleep late. My dad worked 2 full-time jobs.
No, that wasn't going on either.
And you sleep in the house late, my dad go get another time. Get your behind up, boy. I mean, because he got no business sleeping in late. Getting out there, raking the yard, cutting the grass. You know what I'm saying? Watching. Oh man, especially my mom. We messed that kitchen up. My mom was coming in that belt, 2 o'clock in the morning, whoop us, and we go in there and wash some dishes. So being prepared to take care of that stuff, the little simple stuff. But now we don't see much of that. It's like,
right. No.
So I got
go ahead.
So, because I can relate, to having a very similar upbringing, right? And I feel like that's why we all get along so good, because we got that also, our personalities, it sounds like we grew up in the same house and we just didn't know it, right?
Right, exactly.
But as adults, we all are working adults. And so we see younger generations where their upbringing is different, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't believe that, this generation is doomed. What do you think? Like, if we didn't have the upbringing we had, what could we do? What could we have done? What could have been done? So for the people who don't have, like, the elders bringing them up, being a positive example like we had, what do we do for the people coming after us? How do we help them?
I would think that triggers down from our training. Just like someone had to train them. to train us. So it's our turn to train them. I used to teach high school, and one thing I learned in the generation that dealing with young men of this generation, totally different from how we were raised. But you have to some point, you have to get on their level just in order to reach them. You
So
know,
meet them where they are.
yeah, you have to. For an example, I can use this example. I had a kid when I was teaching in high school. I had a young man that he came from a very broken home, and he was left to take care of his sisters and brothers and little kids. But he was on the corner selling drugs. He was fighting. He was in the gangs. He was just a terrible case. And so when I first met him, I just took him under my wing, and I had him with me everywhere I was, and started talking to him, started grooming. I'd take him to the barbershop with me. I'd take him to different places that he just wasn't used to going. And he started eventually changing his look. He started eventually changing how he was presenting himself. And he started focusing on his lesson. And everybody doubted him. He was one of those guys that they said he's going to end up in jail or dead. And so, but after being with him, talking to him, spending time with him, just enlighten him on how the world is a great place if you only just allow yourself to give yourself that boost to go at it and get it. And so this guy ended up graduating out of high school, going to Mississippi State University, and getting a degree. And he is a very success now in Starkville. And I talk to him all the time, and he always tell me, he said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And I think I get all the praise to God behind that, because just like somebody did the same thing to me. No, I wasn't in his shoes growing up, but someone took me down a path, and they took a liking to me, and they groomed me to be the person that I needed to be for this time in my grown up career, in my grown up life. So, and I did the same for him, and it made me feel very good behind it. And till this very day, we still stay in touch to this day. So those are some of the things that happen. It just triggers down to from your raising, and you pour into someone else.
And that's what I'm going to piggyback on that too. It comes with patience.
Yeah.
Compassion comes into play, because you got to realize, if I'm doing the type of work I do, you see a lot of young men incarcerated.
Yeah.
Every day. And they're getting younger and younger every day. And these guys are looking at life in prison
Right.
for the rest of their life. A lot of these guys, 16, 15, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these, not justifying, but a lot of these kids are raising themselves.
Oh, yeah.
That they father, either he's incarcerated or they don't know who he is. The mother is working 2 full-time jobs. If not that, she's looking for a man to lay her with. So you got these young people raising themselves.
Right.
Or the mother may be strung out on drugs. So what happened? The grandmother stepped in. She's up in age, so she really can't do much with them. So these guys are raising themselves.
Right.
So they get into crime. They get into the games. And now they looking at, and them say so. When you be around people that's incarcerated, people think they're bad. A lot of these people have good intentions.
Genuine.
They just made a big mistake.
I'm gonna tell you,
mistake, but they made a bad choice.
Right. I'm gonna tell you a situation. Guys. Me growing up, and I'm gonna tell you how it helped me to this day. It may be little to you guys, but I think about it all the time. Growing up, I played football in high school, and on Friday nights, I used to get beat up. I used to come home sore, barely walking, knots on my leg, and lay down, and my mom would make sure I'm straight. And early Saturday morning, my dad would get up and get me, and I would have to mow like 4 or 5 yards that next day. And I never understood, why is he doing it? I thought he hated me. I'm like, man, why is he punching me like this? Wasn't he at the game last night? Didn't he see me come in the house limping? But what it did was, it taught me the sense of consistency. And to this day, I love to mow my yard. I love to mow my yard. I tell my, I don't matter. It don't matter how hot it is outside. It don't matter I want to go mow my yard because my daddy installed that in me compared to some young men that you put a lawnmower in front of them, they'll be like, what to do with this? And so, those are some of the things, little small things that a man has to do around his household or around to keep it up. My dad installed in me that at an early age. And so when I got older, I was like, oh man, I love it. I love it. It became second to none to me. So I really can't wait for it to get hot because I'm ready to mow my yard right now.
Take care of it because
Yeah.
as men, I know we got a woman here with us, Anna, but from a man's perspective, we deal with a lot. We really do.
Oh yeah.
Emotionally, physically, we deal with a lot. Men now start to open up. Women, y'all open up. Y'all can talk about stuff. Men, we have a hard time opening up
Yeah.
to express the anger, the frustration, thing we may dealt with in our childhood. We was never taught how to be open. We was taught you're a man, you shouldn't cry. You should, if you cry, I'm gonna give you something to stop crying. So we had to live with that image for far too long. So now we go through life, we take out our frustration on our significant other, especially the women. Now the women that you may get with, they deal with that hurt. They deal with that issue because he has never got the help he needed. So people that he come in contact with, they want to become the victim of what he went through. So now men are starting to open up. I mean, because back then we would never open up. We'll keep quiet about a lot of stuff.
I was told as a man, you're supposed to put it in your back pocket and move forward.
Yeah, and it's not even good because, like I said, women can talk. You may ask me, Anna, how your day? I'm gonna give you one word.
I'm good.
Good. Okay. That's how we was programmed.
Yeah.
We would never talk, hey, I went through this today. I'm feeling like this today. And then I guess it comes in our mind that, okay, if I'm telling this person I'm hurting, nah, she gonna think as weak, or oh, he's weak, or he's that. Yeah, so we keep that image up knowing we're hurting. But we keep that image up, but we still hurt on the inside.
Absolutely.
No, I was talking to a person today, and this person said, well, I'm looking for a spouse, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for somebody to open up with and I'm looking for somebody to share their secrets with me. When you want somebody to share their secrets with you, are you ready to handle that? So I hear people say, I want somebody to share our secrets with each other, stuff we never told nobody. But is a person ready for that? Is they mature enough for that? Because people are not ready for that. If a person, hey, I went through this before, I experienced this before, this somebody dealt with in my life.
Yeah.
It just depends on the emotional maturity of the person you're talking to. Because you're right, a lot of people can't handle that. And you're also right, we see it a lot with the upbringing of males, like this idea of masculinity where they're taught to hide and mask their emotions. They weren't really taught how to effectively communicate how they're feeling and what they're going through. I think a lot of men, especially Black men or men of color, because they don't want to be seen as weak. We've been taught, you're the head of the household. We've set these standards, but haven't, wrote out a clear path of how to be that head of the household. What does that mean? And you're right. So as we're shifting as a culture, as a generation, we're finding, thank goodness, forums where men can come together and see, let's do better. Let's do better than we were taught. I also feel that, just like we had positive influences, I also feel that your environment is not the reason why you win or lose. Because I feel that it's in us inherently You know, we both have good and bad within us, but we choose what side to develop. And when I say that, you can learn from anyone, whether it's learning what to do or what not to do, because you may have negative influences around you. We've seen many triumphant stories of people with rough upbringings, not the perfect household, absentee parents, abuse, misuse, not wealthy, but they still have a story of overcoming and triumph. I just really feel like each person, each individual is going to decide, I'm either going to use this as the reason to propel me, or I'm going to use it as the excuse to stay stagnant.
Right.
And and the person has to decide, I want to be better, I want to do better. Because you can have positive people around you and still turn out to be a sorry human being. You can have negative people around you and still turn out to be, I want to be better than what I've seen and witnessed. So I think that's right. And I also feel that you're absolutely correct. I feel like someone invested in us, someone poured into us, someone was an example. And so now it's our turn to do that and more for the ones behind us.
Right.
You know, it's important for us. A lot of times I've heard people say, well, I didn't ask to be a role model. You know, a lot of the titles we wear, we didn't sign up for.
Yeah.
The crown we wear is heavy.
Yeah.
You may not have asked to be an example or a role model, but that's just something that we choose to do as, people of the kingdom.
Right.
Well, no matter what you believe, right? So we have to decide to be better and to be an example for those coming behind us, because it's going to be a lot of people who say, well, if she can do it, if he can do it, then I can do it.
Right.
And I know we walk into these rooms, it's been so many times, and I'm looking around and I'm like, it's nobody in here that looks like me. And it's not a racist thing, you guys, but doesn't it feel good when you can relate to someone, something resonates with you, you want to see somebody that looks like you. And when I say look like you, it don't have to be physically. Look like you, like same experience, same environment, same upbringing, same economic status, came from the same place I came from, and she a woman, I'm a woman. He a man, I'm a man. So a lot of times I just tell myself, when I don't see someone like me in the room, I say, well, that means I need to make room for me to be in the room. Yeah. Right?
That's it.
And I always say, I want to be the leader that I want to follow.
Yeah.
Be the person that you've been looking for in others.
Yeah.
When you got that star supervisor, I always said, you know what, I'm going to be a supervisor because I'm going to be better than this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the boss that I wish I had.
Right.
I'm going to be the person, if you did not have it,
Right.
I'm going to be the person that I wish to see in others. I guess that goes with treating people right. It ain't really about how they treat you. It's about how you treat yourself and how you treat others. I'm going to treat people how I want to be treated. Now, that does not mean I'm going to let you run over me. Don't get it.
Right.
No, yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Right.
I know how to match energy.
Right.
Yeah. I look at it with us, even with us on this podcast, with the spirit that we have. I definitely see us in upgrading and going higher, climbing the ladder just at any given moment. I often find myself sitting back thinking about us in a studio, sitting in nice chairs and having a discussion.
Right.
And thousands and millions of people are watching us, and it all comes from your work ethic and your consistency and everything, and that's along too is a part of your raising and your upbringing, because they put all that in you. And so anybody could have walked away And anybody could say, hey, I'm done, I'm fed up, I'm not gonna do this anymore. But the consistency and the drive to continue to push forward is something that was installed in us 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
And it comes to it now. So when we get to that top platform and we look back and be like, look where we started from and look where we at now.
Most definitely. And I look at it because I said, we got put on the internet radio station in Atlanta. Of course, the website is up, so that's a blessing also. We get a lot of guests coming in now. We already booked up for this month and next month, so we already booked up for that. It's all about staying consistent. The love that we get and the support that we get from people. People really been enjoying the podcast. They really been enjoying the speaking. They've really been enjoying the guests that we've been having on, and the sky's the limit. And it's all about going up, staying consistent, just always getting better. We always getting better. I know I'm getting better. We all get better as we progress, we move forward. So I'm truly excited about all that God is doing. The doors
And
that
what
are
I
opening.
think to do.
Exactly. All that stuff, now being invited on someone else's podcast, which I got invited to be on a guest on the Finding God podcast. So we recorded an episode next
Big ups to you.
Saturday. Oh, appreciate it. So looking forward to being on that podcast soon. So the up and up is on everything. And like I said, I just love the feedback that we're doing here on the podcast and really uplifting, motivating people, inspiring people. And that's what it's all about. And also being examples to our own selves.
That's right.
I think that's the perfect way to wrap it up. That's it. Because we was talking about being a better us, having ambition, having dreams and goals and visions, all of those things. It just gets me excited when I think about my future. What gets me excited? When I think about the young lady that I was, the young woman and the woman that I see myself transforming into, because I know I'm a woman of impact. I'm a woman of influence. And so it gets me so excited just envisioning the things that I know that are going to happen. So, with us individually, with us as friends, with us as a podcast, the sky is the limit. Some great things are coming. I just want us to continue. Like, if we could just reach one person, if we could touch one person, you hear it. You've heard it from Ferman. You heard it from Kenny tonight. We talked about being a better you. We talked about being around people who paint the vision for you, whether it's your parents, your elders, growing up in the church. Basically, what Kenny was saying, he was raised in an environment that made it possible for him to thrive. And through the lessons that he learned throughout his life, he, as a man now, he can look back and reflect on those same lessons and how they apply today, they helped him today, helped him become more consistent, helped him to be more diligent, helped him stay the course, like not give up, playing football and having to get up Saturday morning, having to go to church on Sunday, those things, right? Ferman spoke about creating these healthy habits, being consistent, sticking to it, setting goals. Be a person who sets goals, do for yourself. He talked about feeding your brain, constantly being a person who likes to learn, reading things that keeps your mind ticking and going and active. Those things are so important. So all of those things that we talked about tonight, in an effort to say, how do you become a better person? It's just by deciding you are a good person.
That's right. Oh, you said
that's an awesome quote right there. You ought to make that a t-shirt. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I gotta start writing this down. Good thing it's recorded.
Yeah, exactly. So this stuff together. But like I said, man, I'm very excited about everybody, and I'm very excited about our interview that we're gonna do for upcoming magazine. I'm very excited about that also. So that's
gotta make sure I'm getting real cute.
So that's gonna be in place soon. So I'm very excited.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, so I'm very excited that for everybody that we're gonna get interviewed in the upcoming magazine out of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So people are always watching. You never know who watching.
Right.
So it's all about getting better within the time. And I'm very excited because we got our guest coming on next Tuesday night. She's an actress. I know we had posted clips. She does quite a few movies. So that's very big that we're gonna have an actress that's actually doing big things here on the podcast. So I'm very
I
excited.
can't wait. I just can't wait to get in the same room with you guys and we just laugh
Yes,
and we just
I
hang
can't wait.
out.
I can't wait to do a photo shoot. Let's get
Yeah.
together in a room. Let's break bread. I can't. That's gonna be the best. We
That's gonna be
definitely have to go live.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely. And like I said, the skies is the limit. I know we're gonna be working on some things, implementing some more things. And like I said, I want all y'all feedback on this thing as well.
absolutely.
And like I said, let's get this thing booked up for the rest of the year. Like I said, we got one guest already for May, so we want to book this whole thing up for the entire year of
Right.
2022. So that's what we're doing, and be a better version of ourselves. And that's what it's all about. So I know we pressed for time. It's already after 8 o'clock. Do y'all have any final remarks y'all want to share? Those who listen to it here later.
No, I have really, really enjoyed tonight sharing some of the tools that was installed in all of us. I was sitting there as Anna was talking, it made me go back to another situation when I was a childhood. I used to couldn't stand. I used to get mad at my mom every time she said, "Let's go to church." I'd be like, "I'm not going to that. I just rather just Every time they cut the lights on, we was at church. But what that did was, as a grown man now with a family, I'm always at church. And so if I didn't have that teaching, I would never go to church. Because you have grown people that don't go to church. They got church online, they don't step into the building. But those are some of the things and factors. But overall, great discussion tonight. And I really, really enjoyed tonight. And again, I just look forward to what's up the road ahead.
Oh, was that Anna? You got any final remarks?
No, everything was great. I really enjoyed listening to you two guys tell me more about yourselves, more about the things that impacted you to make you who you are today. So I definitely think we should do a part 2. I can't wait for Shay to be back and join with us, because it's those things that bring back memories. You know, those things shape us. I just want everybody keep striving to be the best version of yourself you can be.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And like I said, looking forward to Shay as well when she get back with us this week. I know she had everything was tied up. I know she said she could be a little late. They'll get a lot late, but I know she probably won't be able to make it. But like I said, we're looking forward to her being back with us next week. And of course, check us out next Tuesday, same time, as we get right back into our conversation with our special guest on next Tuesday night. So we want everybody to tune in with. But like I said, the night was great. It really was.
Yes.
Awesome. Outstanding. So, man, we want y'all to have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Get your rest. Get your sleep. Make sure you're taking your vitamins. Make sure you eat healthy. And also, Anna, do you have any financial tips before we get off the air tonight?
No, I'm gonna save them for next week.
All right, then that'll work. Then. Just save them for next week. Then. All right, then we'll wait till next week. So y'all have a great night. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all later,
everybody.
All right.